Dude, whoever did the flags for the Super Bowl halftime show really knows their stuff, because there's some next level vexillology here. I mean, have you ever heard of St. Eustatius, the tiny Dutch island in the Caribbean? Well, Bad Bunny has. He directly name dropped 25 countries and included, by my count, 49 different flags. His message was one of Pan American unity, emphasizing that all countries of America from Canada to Argentina share common history and struggles. There were, though, a couple small ones and one really big one that he missed. So let's look at what was left out of the greatest display of public vexillology in recent memory. Firstly, when Mr. Bunny was listing all the sovereign countries of America, he neglected to reference these 11 directly. He did say the Guianas, which could refer to Suriname and French Guiana, and the Antilles, which refers to all the islands of the Eastern Caribbean. Really, the only two completely left out were Belize and the Bahamas, but we'll give him some slack considering 100 million people were watching. The flags covered all the sovereign countries of the Americas, as well as almost all the territories he didn't say, including the French, Dutch, and British possessions in the Caribbean. In fact, he managed to include the flags of all the Dutch possessions, including St. Eustatius and Saba, which I had never heard of before and only have about 2,000 people each. He also technically included all the French possessions by adding the actual flag of the country of France, which is a bit of a cop-out, but does include France's 4 Caribbean territories, French Guiana, and the island territory of St. Pierre and Miquelon off the coast of Newfoundland, which kind of sucks because this flag would be awesome to see flying at the Super Bowl. Weirdly, he did include the flag of the island territory Martinique, but not any other French possessions. He also got nearly all the British colonies, but left out the island of Montserrat, as well as, controversially, the Falkland Islands, which have a larger population than some islands he did include, but are involved in a fiery dispute with Argentina, who also claims the islands, which he probably didn't want to get involved with. But that's not the most conspicuous flag missing. No, the largest, most populous, and most interesting omission is the island of Greenland. Now, the world's largest island is about as different geographically from Puerto Rico as a place can get. But I think it's interesting that this Western Hemispheric island with a large culturally distinct population who's been victimized by European colonization and US aggression, whose people have complicated stances on whether to seek independence or stay with their wealthy colonial overlords, and who are famous for their colorful waterside towns, is more similar to PR than some people might think. And it has an amazing flag. I think it would have been a cool inclusion, and given that Greenland's been front of mind in the news lately, I'm sure the omission was intentional, and I'm curious as to why. Is it just that it's the one region with no Latin influence and as such doesn't fit the theme? Or is it that its inclusion was deemed too controversial? I don't know, but I do know that I'm grateful to Bad Bunny for throwing the best halftime show ever for geography nerds. Thanks so much for watching. Follow for more.